Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Biggie Sweats and today I'm bringing you the best Evoker raid talents and mythic dungeon talents so you can jump straight into this character at level 60 and pump your damage. Now make sure you like and subscribe this video, comment what you think about the Evoker, and come and check us out over on twitch.tv/BiggieSweats Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 PM BST. We're also going to have access to the drops over there. But let's jump straight into this. Now, you've just got through the starter zone. You've just hit level 60. How do Covenants work? Now, Covenants work very differently with Evoker. You get access to one Covenant ability called Boon of the Covenants. I'll show it on screen right now. Call upon the Covenants of Shadowlands to aid you, restoring 600% of spell power, health, and increasing your versatility by 10% for 12 seconds. The Covenants have granted you a portion of their power, increasing your damage and healing by 4%. Now, it doesn't matter what Covenant you go, because that is the ability you get. So it really comes down to soul binds and the conduits you can use. So for a base really strong pick, I would go with Nightfray, Dreamweaver. It's just good for a lot of classes and it continues to be good for Evoker. Although you can play really anything, the four are Dreamweaver, Nightfray, Theater, Venfia, Moalef, Necrolord, Pelagos, Kyrian, and that is the exact same for mythic dungeons. I would personally choose Nightfray to get the most out of your damage, soulbind, and conduits. Now, you've just chose your Covenant, and you're thinking, what legendaries do I go? What do I choose here? So, raiding legendaries. You're going to, of course, have access to your Unity legendary, which is your Covenant legendary. So, it's an old Covenant legendary. It's going to be very strange. It's going to be weird, but that's just how it's going to work. Now, for raiding, you're going to want to go with the Echo of Aenar. Now, you go with this because you don't have any class legendaries, and you've got to go with the generic ones that can be brought or accessed just throughout Shadowlands. Now, what the Echo of Aenar does is your spells and abilities have a low chance to summon a spiritual familiar to your side, increasing your damage by 10%, healing by 10%, and your damage reduction by 10% for 10 seconds based on your roll. The effect is duplicated on up to 3 allies at 50% effectiveness, preferring allies with the same roll. Now, this is crafted on your waist, wrist, or finger with Mastery Haste. Basically, it's a short 10% buff that's for you and a short buff for your allies. Now, this is going to be good in raiding. Now, the talents, the juiciest part of the video. These are going to be set to change. The way Drakthea Evoker works with all of the Covenants, the legendaries that we have access to in Shadowlands, is going to be very weird early on. And they play very differently. Now, a max level in Dragonflight, these are going to be very different. But this is going to help you in the last couple of weeks that we've got of Shadowlands in raiding and dungeons and getting used to how your class plays. Now, the left side of the tree, the Evoker side of the tree. Both specs get access to this side of the tree and the talents within it. Both are going to be different, though, because we have a DPS and a healer spec. So let's jump straight into this. Row 1, we're going to take Landslide, Obsidian Scales, and Expunge. Row 2, we're going to take Natural Convergence, Pimenting Chill, and Verdant Embrace. Row 3, we're going to take Obsidian Bulwark, 2 points into Enkindled, and Scarlet Adaption. In row 4, we're going to take Quell. Then we're going to take... Oh, that's it in row 4. In row 5, we're going to take Instinctive Arcana, 2 points, and Tip of the Scales. In row 6, we're going to take Draconic Legacy and Extended Flight, 2 points in both. Row 7, we're going to take Blast Furnace, 2 points, and Panacea, 1 point. In row 8, we're going to take Unravel and Rescue and Renewing Blaze. In row 9, we're going to take Aerial Mastery and Fire Within. In row 10, your final talent will be Zephyr. Now, these are your Devastation, DPS, Evoker, left side talents. The right side of the tree, the Devastation, the DPS talents you're going to need to make this class work. Let's jump straight into it. We're going to start with Pyre, row 1. Row 2 is going to be Ruby Essence Burst and Azure Essence Burst. Row 3 is going to be Inner Radiance and Eternity Surge. Row 4 is going to be Dragon Rage and 2 points into Arcane Intensity. Row 5 is going to be Animosity and Essence Attunement. Row 6 is going to be Heat Wave, 2 points. Titanic Wrath, 2 points. Eternity Span and Casuality. Row 6 is going to be Catalyze, Tyranny, Charge Blast, and Shattering Star. Row 7 is going to be Spellweaver's Dominance, looks like a big hitter, and Focusing Iris. Row 9 is going to be Scintillation, 2 points. And finally, row 10, you're going to take Hoarded Power. These are your raid DPS talents for Evoker Devastation spec, and it looks to be juicy. I can't wait to test these out. Now, we've spoke about the raiding talents, the raiding side of things. Let me tell you how Evoker is going to work and play in Mythic Dungeons. Now, of course, it's still going to set to be very different at endgame in Dragonflight, but for now, let's see how it works in Shadowlands. So, we've spoke about the Covenants and what you're going to take at the start, raiding and dungeons. Very similar, just grow Dreamweaver for the big deeps. Now, legendaries. Unity, of course, every class spec in the world uses Unity, but the legendaries, once again, so weird. You're going to be rolling Third Eye of the Jailer. Now, this is unlocked by being a certain reputation level with the Venari. Now, what that Third Eye of the Jailer does is killing an enemy grants you Third Eye, increasing your primary stat by 1% for 10 seconds, stacking up 7 times, increasing the duration by 1 second for each additional stack. The duration of Third Eye is increased by 50% while in the Maw. Now, this is going to be good because in dungeons, you're killing off mobs all the time, and that's going to increase your stacks and your damage just over time right there. Now, it's as simple as that. There is other generic ones you can use, but these are the best to run right now. Like I said, you're only going to be using them for 2 weeks, so I wouldn't worry. Play about if you like, but Third Eye of the Jailer is going to be the play for Mythic Dungeons. Now, let's jump on to the talents for Evoker Dungeon. Okay, let's look at the Evoker side. Again, there are very little changes, maybe about 2 or 3, but I will go through them just so you can see what is properly going on and where they have changed. Now, let's start again. Row 1, Landslide, Obsidian Scales, and Expunge. Row 2, Natural Convergence, Permenting Chill, and Verdant Embrace. Row 3, Obsidian Bulwark, 2 points into Enkindled, and Scarlet Adaptation. Row 4 is Quell. Row 5 is 2 points into Instinctive Arcana and Tip the Scales. Row 6 is Draconic Legacy and Extended Flight. Row 7 is Blast Furnace and Panacea. Row 8 is Protracted Talons and Oppressing Roar and Renewing Blaze. Now, this is where you see some changes, so make sure you get this section right. Row 9 is Leaping Flames and Fire Within. Row 10 is Zephyr. These are your Evoker Mythic Dungeon left side talents. Now, right side Mythic Dungeon Evoker. So these are going to be built more AoE based talents, so let's jump straight in. Now, Pyre. Row 1, row 2 is Ruby Essence Burst and Azure Essence Burst. Row 3 is Dense Energy, Imposing Presence, and Eternity Surge. Row 4 is 2 points into Volatility, Dragon Rage, and 2 points into Arcane Intensity. Row 5 is Animosity and Essence Attunement. Row 6 is 2 points into Heat Wave and Eternity Span and Casualty. Row 7 is Tyranny, Charge Blast, and Shattering Star. Row 8 is Font of Magic, Spellweaver's Dominance. Row 9 is Scintillation, 2 points. And finally, row 10 is Hoarded Power. These are what you're going to be rocking for Mythic Dungeons. I hope these help and get you the best AoE and big blast damage that you can. These are the default builds that you're going to be using throughout the last 2 weeks of Shadowlands. Now, guys, that is a very beginner style guide to this class. I hope that the raid build makes you blast in single target and the Mythic Dungeon build helps you blast in AoE. Now, we're going to be playing lots of this over on stream and absolutely perfecting it. I'm even going to try and get a 28-man Evoker raid going. So if you want to come and check that out, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 PM BST over on twitch.tv/BiggieSweats. But until next time, peace!